Oh boy, here I go. Here I go. Good to see everybody. Here we go. Here we go. Rep your city. Rep your city. You know, that's something I'm doing now. I want to respect where you all come from. That's only right. Shout out to everybody on Facebook. You know, I'm representing Chicago. All my people on Twitch. It's the Shy. Everybody over on Kick, you know, it's the Rack. Everybody on YouTube, you know, it's the Windy City. You already know what it is. Salute to all my brethren from Chicago that's watching, that never get in the chat. We got Buffalo, New York in the building. Yeah, I'm okay, M. West. How you been doing, sweetheart? We got my boy Quaylen representing Naptown, Indianapolis. We got the Soldier More Power representing San Francisco, California, my second home, California. We got Florida in the building, Dade County, where I was taking chances. We got them all the way across the water. We got the King, Elijah Farrakhan. That's a cold name right there. I ain't gonna lie. That name right there. That's why I told you that's how you pick a name. See, he showed you how to do it. Take two people you like, make you a new name. We got Brooklyn, New York in the house, right? Where else? We got Dallas in the house with the beautiful Shara's son. Ooh, you better stop playing. We got New Orleans in the building. I ain't talked to you. Why I ain't talked to you, Arnell? I gotta get an update. We got my brother from another mother representing Pittsburgh, the great King G-Ra. We got Philadelphia in the building, Azim representing the place where they will knock you out, the boxing capital of America, if you ask me. If you ask me, what's the boxing capital of America? I say Philly. I say Philly. What y'all say? We got Cincinnati, Ohio in the building. Philly is the boxing capital. West side of Chicago in the building. What up, Tiny? West Side. Street media know I'm talking about. Ain't Philly the boxing capital of America? You want to get beat up, go start something in Philly. I bet you get beat up. I bet you get beat up. Everybody can box. You know, the rest of us, we can't box. We box, we box, but they box. We box, I grew up boxing and stuff, but they really professional box, even on the street. I ain't prepared for no professional boxing. How I'm gonna beat a professional boxer? He gonna come with the pop, pop, pop. I don't know nothing about that. I'm gonna get knocked out. What's going on, Rashid? I don't know nothing about that. Like that. We just box in the hood box. We don't know nothing about no real boxing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know about no real box. Everybody got boxers. Everybody got boxers. But Philadelphia don't got boxers. Philadelphia box. You know what I'm saying? It's different. Everybody got boxers. Chicago got boxers. Everybody got boxers. But Philadelphia box. It's different. They don't got boxers. They box. We got boxers. They are boxers. That's what they do. That's what they do. Anybody in boxing know. Anybody in boxing know. Anybody know about the gyms in Philadelphia? Other cities don't have gyms like that. Chicago don't got boxing gyms like Philadelphia. I don't think nobody got boxing gyms like Philadelphia. Would I try to be what? Would I try to be what? You said, would you try to be but you left something out. And when you live there where it's boxing, it's different, man. It's different when you live there. When that's what everybody do. When you actually see people in Chicago, you're not gonna see nobody walking down the street with gloves around their neck. You gotta know black culture. You gotta know black culture. We don't got it like that. Would I try to be a boxer? No. No. I wouldn't try to be no boxer. For what? No. No, I wouldn't try to be a boxer. If I was in Philadelphia, I would know how to box better. But I wouldn't try to be no boxer. I wouldn't try to be no boxer. My hands is too little. Look at these hands. Who you gonna? Come on, my hands is too little. I'm too tall. I ain't got the side. No, it's not so much that. Look, and we're gonna get to the conversation. Y'all come in. When you were little, you know what you could do. You know what you do for play, and you know what you could do for real. When I was coming up, right, nobody was ashamed of what they couldn't do. That's some new stuff. When I was coming up, we respected everybody for what they could do. We didn't care if they could do it better than us. It was a different culture. Your man's play baseball. He could knock the cover off the ball, and you can't. We didn't have no problem with that. My man's is the baseball man. My man's over here, he could really, really fight. My man's over here, he do the football. We didn't worry about what the other dude could do. It was a different culture when I grew up. When it came to running, you knew who you couldn't beat running. You cannot beat dude running. As a matter of fact, not only do you know you can't beat him, you bet that he could beat other people. I bet you can't beat Johnny. You know, that's how I grew up. We know Johnny fast as hell. If you fast, I don't say I could beat you. I'm gonna say I bet you can't beat Johnny though. Johnny fast. I bet you can't outrun Johnny. You understand? We was supermen. We was really men. We was young men. We didn't care nothing about that. You know what I'm saying? We didn't care nothing about that. I'm going to be talking about that, Jimmy. But I got to let people come in. It's early, Jimmy, so I don't start the conversations right away because people come in late. Everybody, it was like this. Everybody was cool with whatever they was. Everybody was cool with whatever they was. It wasn't like that. I don't got to, you didn't feel less like that. Back in the day. It was what it was. Yeah, it was what it was. You know what I'm saying? Y'all come on in. We're going to get into the conversation. You asked something. So, yeah, we didn't really, Pharaoh. So if Chicago was to start adopting the boxer culture like Philly, would that bring another vibe to the city? That's not going to happen. because over the years, athletes found out where they can make money at. So G-Rod, back in the day, right, a lot of them dudes that boxed back then, today they wouldn't be boxing because the size changed in the different sports and stuff like that. So a lot of them dudes that was boxing back in the day, when they was little, they would have learned how to hit home runs and knock the ball out the park. So they would have been playing baseball. Okay, like when you see baseball and you see them dudes hold a bat and the bat real little now and they hit it and the ball fly out, them dudes would have been playing football or they would have been boxing. But now they found out if you big like that, they could put you as a power forward or they could put you bat fourth. So there's more opportunities if you athletic now. That ain't what I said. It's more opportunities if you athletic now than it was back then. So if you athletic, you understand? You got more options now. If your son's athletic, why would he box when he can get a scholarship to college playing something else? He ain't gonna get no scholarship boxing. You know what I'm saying? Like a big dude like George Foreman. He would not have been boxing today. George would have been on the football team, or on a basketball team, or on a baseball team today. You understand? Today, athletes would be playing different stuff than they was back then. Because everything changed. They didn't have them big old dudes in baseball back then. You know what I'm saying? They had them big old dudes. They hadn't taught them big old dudes how to hit a baseball. Nowadays, you a big old dude, you big and tall, you ain't gonna never be in the gym. You're gonna be on the basketball court or on the football field. They're gonna fit you in a position for somebody your size. If you athletic. But you still would have boxers. But I'm just saying some of them dudes back then, they would have been boxers. They would have been something else. You know what I'm saying? The ones that was really athletic. Like, for example, I give you another example. I'll reverse it. LeBron James would have never been playing basketball. He would have been playing football. Back in the day, somebody with LeBron's size, he would have been playing football. He wouldn't have been on no basketball team. Big, strong like that, he would have been a fullback. He wouldn't have been playing no basketball back in the day. Because they would have said his size would have been, he would have been too big to be playing like a guard. He would have been he could have played a small forward, but he wouldn't be no superstar like he is today because he wouldn't have been able to bring the ball up the court. Back in those days, a basketball team, they lined you up based on your height. Seriously. You played whatever your height was based on your team. Meaning, if the tallest man on the team is 6'10", he the center. You 6'9", 6'8", you the power forward. You 6'7", you the small forward, like that. You didn't have options. You know what I'm saying? The tallest man is the center. The second tallest man is the power forward. The third tallest man is the small forward, no matter what size. Shaq would always play basketball because, they was taking big dudes. He would have always been playing basketball because after Wilt Chamberlain, then it was up. You know what I'm saying? After Wilt Chamberlain. So them 7-footers, they would have always been playing. You know what I'm saying? You think they should? No, you got to adapt. You can't. People start getting bigger, G-Rod. People start getting bigger. When I went to high school in 1972, the sophomores came. They was bigger than us. And when I was a junior, the freshmen came. They was bigger than all of us. The freshman class was bigger than the sophomores, the juniors, and the seniors. So people started getting bigger. So they had to change. Back in the day, they didn't have a bunch of 7-footers. That's why Will Chamberlain was so famous. They didn't have a bunch of 7-footers. They didn't start having a bunch of 7-footers to like Daryl Dawkins in them. Dudes started getting bigger, started growing tall as hell. That was new. So tonight we talking about, everybody's here. Tonight we talking about Dr. Umar Johnson. Everybody come in. If you're wondering what we was talking about, we always have a warm-up conversation to at least try to get some people over here first. I don't like people to log in and we already halfway into the conversation. If you know anything about live stream, don't mix live stream up with pre-recorded. A pre-recorded video, you push it, you start in on the subject. Live stream, you got to wait till people come in. You got to wait until they go out in the algorithm and people get notifications that come into the live before you start the conversation. So I always have some type of pre-talk. I had to learn that the hard way. Will the live stay up? I never know if the live going to stay up because I never know if I'm going to talk crazy or not. I be talking crazy. I got a couple lives that's not up. I got to edit them or whatever. You know, I can't just leave them up. I got to go back and clean them up. Because I be talking crazy. What's up? I'm Ra. Salute, King. So I'll be talking crazy. So I don't know if I'm going to talk crazy or not. You know what I'm saying? Okay, Dr. Umar. Everybody's talking about him, but I got something different to say. I'm going to break down the whole thing. Yeah, I can edit it. I be talking crazy. You know what I'm saying? My daughter said I should stop doing it. And I'm battling free speech. So even though I'm losing my monetization, I don't want to clean up my speech. I should be getting monetized and have free speech. I don't like saying unalived. To me, we're selling out our rights. You understand? Now they don't come down, they go back up. If you want, I cut them up and they come back up. And then the full version is on Patreon. Go pay $20 on Patreon. You can see everything. You know what I'm saying? But they stay up. I just edit them. If I take it down, it's because I changed my mind. For example, I made a video saying that Vlad TV is not a culture vulture because I watched this thing and seen he been in hip-hop culture a long time. I might take it down because he talking crazy to Godfrey. And so now I might got to come back and diss him. Although I'm still standing on what I'm saying, but I don't know, I might have to take it down because I can't be trying to ride for you and you wilding. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Patreon, pay $20 on Patreon and you see everything. So if it's a video that's 6 hours long and you come back the next day and it's only 2 hours, the 6-hour one is on Patreon. You know what I'm saying? Because YouTube, they want me to bring it down, so Yeah, I mean, YouTube is cool. I got a free voice, but if I want to get my monetization back, I gotta, you know what I'm saying? Because they don't care. They just ain't gonna monetize me. You know what I'm saying? The supernatural stuff is gonna be on Patreon, some of it, but I slowed down on that because all that's gonna be on Coming to Chicago. So Coming to Chicago's coming, right? So I'm working on a lot of stuff where I'm gonna have like 5 channels. So I'm building one at a time. Right now I'm building Vegan Intel. Once I get Vegan Intel built, then I'll start working on Coming to Chicago. I moved all my vegan stuff to Vegan Intel because I felt like this audience, a lot of them don't want to eat right. They don't want to hear it. So I go over there and just get a whole new audience that's interested. And then I don't got to be over here talking over here about that. I get less views. I go over there and blow that up and have a whole different audience. You know what I'm saying? But y'all be talking about all that stuff. So, Dr. Umar. Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar, Dr. Umar. Now, Dr. Umar has always been a fraud. Always. He's always been a fraud. He's always been a fraud. Let me explain why I'm saying that. When it comes to Black culture, Black consciousness, which is what he's perpetrating, there is a lot of frauds. Okay? There is a lot of frauds in the Black consciousness situation. Okay? Now, first, let's take first things first. Let's deal with Black consciousness. Because when you see Umar with the red, black, and green on and all that, that's not Black consciousness. Right? So it doesn't matter if you're Cuban or whatever. We're talking about Black consciousness, which you could be Black from anywhere. You could be Black, Cuban, African. You could be any type of Black with Black consciousness, because Black consciousness is global. But see, Black consciousness is not what Umar is representing. Okay? See, a lot of people don't really know when you say the conscious community, that's not the consciousness community. Right? So what is Black consciousness? Black consciousness is a philosophy and social movement that originated in South Africa, emphasizing the psychological liberation and self-empowerment of Black people under apartheid. It challenged the psychological effects of racial oppression, promoting Black pride, self-reliance, and unity. The movement, spearheaded by Steve Biko, aimed to dismantle the mental and cultural subjugation imposed by the apartheid regime. Okay? Black consciousness. Okay? This is back in the apartheid era, back in this era. This is what I'm representing, Black consciousness. You see the Africa around my neck. You see the high slide. You see the military clothes on. You see the Pharaoh buckle head, right? Black consciousness was a revolutionary concept, and it was all based around apartheid in South Africa. A Steve Biko ideology. These people don't even mention Steve Biko, talking about the conscious community. The conscious community was bootleg. Okay? Black consciousness. Right? It was all based around apartheid in South Africa. This is very important for you to understand how you've been hoodwinked. Okay? How you've been hoodwinked and made to believe that this stuff is Black consciousness. That's why they don't call it Black consciousness. Okay? That's why they don't call it Black consciousness. Because it's not. By Black consciousness, I mean the cultural and political revival of an oppressed people. This must be related to the emancipation of the entire continent of Africa since the Second World War. Africa has experienced the death of white invincibility. Before that, we were conscious mainly of two classes of people, the white conquerors and the Black conquered. The Blacks in Africa now know that the whites will not be conquerors forever. Steve Bantu Biko. I write what I like. So this is Steve Biko. Salute to Steve Biko. Okay? Black consciousness. Okay? This is all going to make sense. You got to ride out with me. So Black consciousness was based off of South Africa. All right? And what happened in Soweto, which we all seen. This is the beginning of us seeing world news. And we young revolutionaries here in the United States, we coming up, boom, behind the Black Panthers, Fred Hampton. We coming up behind Fred Hampton. We coming up behind Malcolm. Right? And we seeing the situation. And we having emotions about the situation because we coming out of our own type of apartheid here. And when we look and we coming out of segregation, and when we look, we see what? We see the same thing in South Africa, right? That we seen over here. They had blacks, no blacks, whites only signs. So when we see this in South Africa, this is why it triggered us. Because it was the same thing that my parents fought against over here that we fought against all the way up to the 70s. So this is why we related with Africa, because we seen the whites only and it pissed us off because America had whites only, no blacks, black water fountain, white water fountain. So for black Americans, when we seen that in Africa, we like, so wait a minute. It's one thing for you to be racist over here in the country you took. You're going to go to a black continent and do that in dayland? That was the connection for people that wanted to know, why did black Americans even care about Africa? Because we seen the same signs that our parents dealt with over here. This is the same sign that would be over here at a water fountain. Whites only. Okay? So then you get black conscious, right? Reggae pops off, it's doing this thing. It's growing. You can see Rap City, you see X-Clan, you see Poor Righteous Teachers and stuff like that. So it become a thing. So now you start getting a group of people that want to emulate it because it's the end thing. They're not into it for the struggle. They into it because now Public Enemy is cool, Poor Righteous Teachers is cool, it's growing, KRS-One. So now you start getting all these phonies. Now they want to be in it. But they ain't black conscious, they become conscious. Right? They become conscious. So now the conscious community is not black consciousness. The conscious community is something, a mixture of outcasts. Right? So when you get to my era and you get to when you get to 79, 80 through the 80s on to the 90s, you have outcasts. And the outcasts is Rastas, Kemetic, Nation of Islam, Hebrew Israelites, Pan-Africans, Yoruba was the outcasts, right? So the outcasts banded together. So now when you start having black events, all of the outcasts of the Negro society all would come to the black events. So if I'm at Leimert Park in LA and they having Kwanzaa, when I get there, the Egyptian brothers is there, the Rastas brothers is there, the Nation of Islam is there, the Hebrew Israelites is there, RBG is there. Everybody forgot about RBG is there. All of the different types of outcasts that wasn't a part of the Negro culture, the regular working black American, all of them would come together. And that was the conscious community, because it's a bunch of different consciousnesses together. Okay? That's why we was the conscious community. We was all outcasts. And what we had in common was all our queens wore head wraps. So if you looked at our women, you couldn't tell what they was, because back then in the early 80s on through to the 90s, all the sisters wrapped their heads. The Hebrew Israelite sisters wrapped their head. The Sisters from Nation Islam wrapped their head. The Rasta women's wrapped their head. Everybody. So there was unity based on we was all the outcasts. So when Minister Farrakhan would speak, we would all be there. Everybody would be there. That's how he became like the king. Because everybody would go see him because he was the number one spokesperson for Black consciousness. So Black consciousness becomes popular. So now once Black consciousness become popular, now you start getting dudes growing dreads pretending they Rastas. Now you get dudes pretending they Muslims. Now you're getting dudes pretending they Hebrews. You're getting the fakes. You start getting the fakes. Now you got dudes ain't nothing but just to put on the African garb or put on the dark shiki or put on red, black, and green and put some beads on his neck and come. You start getting the phonies that really wasn't dedicated to nothing. They just wanted to be hip because you got to understand that the most sought after brothers in the mid 80s through the 90s was the conscious brothers. All the women wanted the brothers with a lot of women wanted to if you was a conscious brother, you had your own world with your own women. So now brothers that couldn't fit in the secular world, brothers that couldn't do business, brothers that couldn't make it in the regular world came over in our lane, a bunch of losers. They became conscious because they couldn't make it at a job. Bums, basically. The ones that couldn't make it. See, brothers like me, we could make it. I was working at the Treasury Department. But after so long, the people that start infiltrating the conscious community was losers. You got a big audience. So now a lot of brothers that would have been preachers, would have been fake preachers, became Black conscious preachers. So you would see a brother be one way, and once he see he could be a preacher and don't have to be Christianity, could be a Black conscious preacher, he turned into something else. Okay? So he can pimp Black consciousness. You start getting Black conscious preacher scammers. They start coming from over here and see that they can't get nowhere over there because in that world, don't nobody want to hear no talk unless you can run a church. And if you can't get a church popping, nobody want to hear you. It wasn't like Instagram now where you can get on there and talk economics and scam with your economics talk, same thing. But back at this time when they was transferring over, the only way you're going to get any attention, you have to go now and play the Black conscious look and then start preaching like that, right? So now you can, our people, we got to get together, and they're going to want to hear that. You got to get together and blah, 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 right? This is why I'm not like that, because when they see my name, Pharaoh, and they know I got the dread, they want me to do that. This is why y'all see me get some backlash, because they want me to do this. And I won't do it. That's what the beef is with me. They want me to come and talk to y'all with the fake Black shit And because I won't sucker y'all, they don't like it. Because trust me, he couldn't have played the game as good as I could have. Look, he could have never been as big as me if I wanted to run that scam. I'll just keep it real. He couldn't have never been as big as me if I ran that scam. That is a fact. He don't got none of the knowledge like that. By the time he was trying to learn it, I already knew it. Okay? He had to go learn what to say. So this is why a lot of people don't like me, because they see me and they want me to scam y'all. Basically, they want me to scam you. And I won't do it. And so Dr. Umar turned himself into, this is the real him. No, they mad, G-Rock, that I won't scam them because they don't think it's a scam. They wanted me to say what would really be a scam. They wouldn't know it's a scam, but that's what they want to hear. They want me to say stuff for them to go, yeah, brother, that's right, brother. So they want me to come and the white man is doing this and that, brothers, and the white man this and the white man that. That's what they want to hear. That's what they want to hear. They want me to scam them with the white man this and the white man that, and the white man, it's the white man. It's snow bunnies. That's what they want to hear. Africa, we unite, all African brothers, we get together. Like the brother over there and Burkina. They don't like me saying he a sucker for being with the Chinaman and he gonna go down. I'm not supposed to say that. I'm supposed to say, yeah, the brother's strong. Brother got, you know what I'm saying? I'm not supposed to tell the truth and say he going down. Just like Sekou Touré. He gonna get the same thing. He over there smiling with the Chinese helping him build his stuff. Oh, he's out of here. I'm not supposed to say that. Because I'm supposed to be a baby. They want me to say the baby stuff. They want me to say the stuff he's saying. But I've really been doing this. So I'm telling the facts. I already seen this movie. So I already seen the movie. So I already seen what happened to all the Africans that did the same thing the brother doing. He going to get the same thing they got. He going to get the same thing Idi Amin got. He going to get the same thing Sekou Touré got and all the rest of them. Lumumba and all. He going to get the same thing because he's doing the same thing. Burkina Faso going to fail. Period. Because he let the Asian come in and tell him, we better than the white man. And went for that move. Because the Asians play, we not the white man. We people of color. And you know, as Black Americans, we ain't going for the people of color shit. You understand? You understand? See, the brother in Burkina, he going for the people of color. See, the Black Americans, the Foundation of Black America, we way ahead of Africans and all the other blacks. Because all the other blacks controlled by whites from a distance. They don't know him. We the only group was controlled by him right here. Jamaicans are controlled by whites from a distance, from Europe. Africans are controlled by whites in Europe. We controlled by whites right here. So we know them. They don't know them. They don't know them. We know the Chinaman. We've been going to the Chinese restaurants before the Chinaman was even in Burkina. We know how they are. Our women going to their nail shops. We already know. They playing with a snake. So what he did was to run his pimp game, he changed. Now he got it from Sarnet in there. And I hate to throw them under the bus. But Sarnetta pimped that too. He pimped the House of Consciousness and pimped it. The whole time, all he wanted was Mercedes-Benz and alligator shoes. He just dressed up black. He dressed up black, go on Sarnetta TV, get off, dress back like a regular pimp or something. He didn't do that black shit once he got off. He didn't do that. So that's who he come up during the Sarnetta TV era. And they see Sarah Seti, Polite, Ali Muhammad, I can name them. Tahuti that went to prison for the heroin. I can go on and on. Sarnetta's boy left because he seen it was a scam. It was two of them at first. The one brother left, went to Atlanta, left his partner because he seen to play. He watching all of that. So he said, all I got to do is put on this shirt too, like Sarnetta be doing. I'm finna go get this money. All the time, I'm watching all of them. I'm watching the whole play. So I'm getting what people would call negative because I'm seeing the play. So I'm trying not to be in that category. I worked hard to not be in that category. People can say whatever they want to say, but you don't look at me as black conscious. Why? Because it was a scam. It was a scam. The whole black consciousness is nothing but the Baptist preacher preaching black shit. It's the same game that preachers pulled in the church. You just change your sermon. That's it. All he did was take a preacher's sermon and changed it and studied it and got it down and play with your emotions. If you say snow bunnies, I don't believe with snow bunnies. Then he can get the black woman. That's right, brother. That's right, brother. Send some money. Send me some money. Send me some money for the school. Send me some money for the school. The Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, even the name is a pimp gang. The Frederick Douglass, Marcus Garvey, didn't even think that Frederick Douglass was married to a snow bunny. Just talking. Lied and said he was related to Frederick Douglass. The family came out and said, no, he not. Right then, everybody should have said. No, they kept messing with him. Frederick Douglass' family came out and rebuked him, said he lying. He not related to Frederick Douglass. He kept running the pimp gang. Then he got into it with Seti. Got on the phone like he was calling his boys, and the phone rang while he was on the phone. At this time, Seti going down, lost credibility because he started messing with Sarnetta and them and linked up with young Pharaoh and let young Pharaoh son him. I got love for Seti, but he let young Pharaoh stun him, and he's supposed to be the general. He started following young Pharaoh because young Pharaoh come in on some superstar stuff through Sarnetta. He had young Pharaoh and they had the other young boy. They let the other young boy crash. I forgot his name. They had two young superstars and they did the other brother dirty. It was two of them. I forgot the other young brother name. He was a genius, but they ruined the brother before he even get going. Then they ruined, look at young Pharaoh. Crazy and everything. No, not Nature Boy. The other young boy, not Nature Boy. Nature Boy come later. The other young brother was two of them. Marcus. I think his name was Marcus. Right? Nature Boy. Young Marcus. Yep. Nature Boy. Facts. Listen, Nature Boy, hold on, I'm finna blow y'all mind. Nature Boy went and took my story. Nature Boy went and took my life. He didn't take it from me, but he took what I was doing and he put it on the internet. Facts. So I'm looking at Nature Boy, knowing he a scam because what I mean, he took my story. When did I go in the bushes? I went in the bushes back in the 80s. You see the herb over? I'm in Hawaii in the mountains. The real nature man. Right? So Nature Boy took what we was doing back in 83, 84, 85, and he put it on the internet. That's what he did. What he did had already been done. It just wasn't on the internet. He didn't discredit me. Nobody discredited me. Nobody ever played with me. He didn't even know. Nature Boy don't even know about this. I'm saying I'm watching him and seeing him do us. He don't know he doing us. And he was selling it like it was something new. You understand? So he never knew. Nature Boy didn't take this from us. He did what we was already doing, but it was fraudulent. It was fraudulent. Because we wasn't out there pimping the sisters. So we took the whole nature thing and pimped the women with it. That's why he's in prison right now. I'm just showing you all them different things I see. I had already did it. So I'm watching them. Inky was another one. Get caught eating a hamburger, talked all that vegan stuff, and he got caught in McDonald's, remember? He wanted to beef with me too, but I never responded. That's why they never could beef with me, because they would say stuff and I wouldn't respond. And you can't take to make a burger, you got to have two patties. And all they had was the meat and one patty. I mean, one bread. You got to have two buns and one patty. And Inky, all he had was a patty and he was the other bread. I wasn't the other bread. So I didn't really, you know what I'm saying? My thing was Inky is like, you know what I'm saying? I don't do the internet. But I can't get on the internet and say I don't do the internet. So I couldn't get on the internet and say nothing. Because I don't really do the internet. This the rack. Okay? Wasn't no vegan in McDonald's. I don't do the internet, so that's why I never beef with none of them. And if I'm going to run up on you outside, I'm not going to tell the police on the internet. I'm not going to tell you either. And it ain't going to be no discussion if I rant up on them. This Chicago. What, you think I'm going to say something when I see you outside? Hey, man, no. Well, no. I'm not going to say nothing. And we just leave that there. You fill in the blanks. You ain't going to even necessarily know it was me. Anyway, I'm not doing all that. So I stayed out the way. Because I can't open up no door, it won't close. Because I didn't come out the conscious community. I went conscious, criminal, back trying to be conscious. I came out the streets. I didn't come straight from conscious. I got stabbed, went to the hospital, came up, I was outside. You understand? But they wanted to beef with me because they just thought I was Pharaoh. They didn't know I was outside. If I start beefing, the guy's gonna see it. I ain't gonna be able to I ain't gonna be able to put the lid back on it. So they ain't understand. They conscious. I come up like that, but right before I went on the internet, I didn't come from consciousness. I came from bagging shit up and shit. So my thing was this. If I'm dealing with the streets and these shorties out here wilding, I can't let them see me doing on the internet what I'm telling them to stop doing, because I went from the streets and then I was in the streets and I was in the music business, and I'm trying to tell the young brothers to put the guns down. So it wasn't about them. It was about my reputation with the young brothers that I had under my wing. I couldn't afford for the young brothers to see me beefing, and then I go over where some GDs beefing, and I tell them, man, y'all need to cut all this shit out. What they gonna see? Man, Pharaoh, you phony as hell. You on the internet beefing. That's why I didn't do it. Because by that time, I was already on some other responsible shit. Because I never was beefing. I was hustling. I was solo. I never got the foes involved with my shit. But if I start beefing and folks see H&M see me beefing, I ain't going to be able to call that off. They're going to be at you. So why would I do that? They're going to be at you. Why would I do that? So I had to ignore all of that. Because that shit's going to go around and they're going to be like, Solid is into it with somebody. This ain't them niggas. They playing. I know you know by now, this Chicago, it's a little different. This is so I never opened up that can of worms because I wouldn't be able to close it back. They conscious. Beefing with me, it's gonna go into some gang shit. What I'm gonna say when I get mad, I'm gonna turn back to a gang member. That ain't gonna work. I got PTSD. I got super violent tendencies that I'm trying to get out of. Okay? I got issues. That's why you got to get my book. And when you get my book, you'll be like, damn. I'm really him. When you didn't pay nobody and all that. So these some conscious dudes. I'm out here getting money from real dangerous dudes that owe people. That's child's play. When Sarnetta came here, he was calling me. I didn't answer my phone. I was trying to uphold the community. I was trying to uphold beef. And right now, I got no beef on my sheet, on my rap sheet, on the internet. I got no beef. I don't know what you're talking about. You seem to be off subject. Come back in 30 minutes. As a matter of fact, come back tomorrow. Because I see you really. Yeah, you come back tomorrow. I can't do all that. So that's what that was about. So he came in behind all of that. He snaked in behind that whole house of consciousness. And then he became what? The King Kong kind of consciousness, right? And so now he started running the scam and he seen he could use consciousness as the new preacher and take people's money. That school wasn't going to never open. It was all a scheme. And he played black people like a fiddle because there's certain things you could say and people gonna always listen. There's certain things you could say and you can always get their attention because it sound positive. And if you know the positive sound bites, you know what I'm saying? And that's what he did. He took the preacher tactics, he slapped black consciousness on it and ran the scam. We're gonna get a school for our boys, a black school, but black this and black that. We're gonna build la 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 la. The whole time all he talking about is sleeping with the sisters, which was the main scam when the black consciousness went into the 90s. Really in the late 80s, that was the destruction of the conscious community because the Hebrew brothers started passing their women around. I can't say that for the Nation of Islam, but the Hebrew brothers was passing their women around. The Rasta brothers was going from woman to woman. The black power women and stuff was just passing around. So the sisters was getting passed around within consciousness. That's why I never had a conscious queen. I never dated or made a woman from the conscious community my queen. I always took somebody and turned her into that myself. Because the woman I meet that's already conscious, some other brother taught her that. And now she a past, right? She learned that from some other brother. I don't want your dirty laundry like that. I build my own queen. I don't want no secondhand queen. And so all these groups, all they do is pass their women around, Joe. So that's why all he be talking about is what he gonna do with women, what he gonna do with women. Right then you could tell he not really respectable man. You cannot talk about raising money for our babies and constantly talk about sleeping with women. Okay. So these women that's bringing their sons up there, you're gonna try to sleep with them. You a sleazeball. You a dude that ain't had no women, and now you build up this name Umar, and you want to take that to get women. It happened with the brothers with dreads. Brothers became rosters, started growing dreads. All the women started liking them, so they just start sleeping with all the women just because the women like you. Because now dreadlocks is in, and now you ain't never had no women before, so now you sleeping with every damn woman you meet. The Hebrew Israelites passing the women around. The women go from Hebrew to Hebrew to Hebrew and leave. Because people start pimping consciousness. That's why the brothers went over there to Israel and it broke up. Ben Ami broke up from Isaiah. I ain't gonna go into details, but I can tell you that my daughter's mother went to Israel and they had to send her a passport to sneak out of there. That's how wicked they was over there. I dare Hebrew to step on my toes. I'll tell it all. What they really was doing to women over there, taking them over there, getting them pregnant and leaving them over there and come back and get another one. Take her over there, leave it. Sometimes take their child from Israel and send their child to their camp in Africa. So now she can't leave because she ain't got a baby. My daughter's older sister don't even know who her daddy is. Some Hebrew dude that got her pregnant over there. They ain't seen them since. She don't even know who her daddy is. They don't use their real name. So who is Nazahim Israel? That ain't even his real name. So you can't find them. It's the scams they was running. It's the scams they was running. Facts. I could tell you facts. All the facts. Like I said, my first child mama was a hostage over there in Israel, messing with them people. The queen I had before them out of high school, she started listening to the Hebrew Israelites and broke up with me and wanted to follow them. And then I met a woman, that my next queen was somebody that escaped from them. This is how the Most High worked. From somebody that want to go with them to somebody escape from them. But my queen out of high school, she went around them and she think they were scam artists and left. As a matter of fact, when she first moved there, I drove up to drop her stuff off. I'm in a Cadillac, my daddy's Cadillac. The Hebrew brothers come out to get her stuff and they say, "Shalom, brother, this your car?" That's what the holy men say at the Hebrew camp. "Shalom, brother, this your car?" I'm like, "No, it's my father's car." You know what the brother said? "Oh, we was going to have to talk to you, brother." In other words, if it looked like you got some money, this the holy Hebrews. He said, "We was going to have to talk to you." I'm thinking she coming on her own wheel. Because if she wasn't coming on her own wheel, I was going to talk to you too. Yeah, I want to talk to you too. Boy, shut up talking to me. You know what I'm saying? Shut up talking to me. I was growing my dreads trying to go, you know, shut up talking to me before I knock your heat off your brew. You just be a brew. You know, you talking to punk. You know what I'm saying? But we was going to have to talk to you. I said, "Look at these lanes." I skeeted out. Skirt, here's our stuff. Skirt. Because, bro, we don't chase them. We replace them. Shalom. You know what I'm saying? Shalom. But stop playing with me. Yeah, I'm a revolutionary. What's wrong with y'all? We trying to fight white supremacy, so it ain't nothing to knock y'all shit loose. I'm a revolutionary. I'm thinking about the big war. Y'all, that's a little war. I can't even get motivated. I'm thinking about apartheid and what's going to happen if these people attack us. I'm thinking on the big level. I'm not thinking on warring with no weirdos and no doggone weird fake religion. I'm not thinking about that. I'm a revolutionary. Y'all will step down. What I look like fighting y'all. Y'all will step down. You know what I'm saying? They don't really want no smoke like that. Look at me. Do I look like I was somebody for them to play with? And you in Chicago, and I still got ties with the guys. I just started growing the dreads. I grew my dreads from Jerry curl. That's I'm in Maple Park right now, where all the guys at. I'm still gambling. If I go tell them I got a problem, it's gonna be a problem. But I ain't waste my time. Because it's a scam. They start scamming. My point is that by the time you got to the 80s, mid 80s, going into the late 80s and 90s, they start scamming. They start scamming black culture. They start using it like the preachers, like this dirty preachers. Every meeting I went to was a scam. They threw me out of all the black power, like they would have like black revolutionary meetings out at this young dude. These is older people, OGs and shit. When I would get up and talk, they're like, "Oh, brother, you going too far." I'm like, "Y'all suck." Because I would really be talking about laying it down. And they was like fake talking. So when you see me not into all that black revolutionary stuff, that's why I'm not, because the black revolutionaries is fake. Okay? They ain't really want no smoke like that. So I'm young, I'm hyped up, I'm thinking they really want smoke. Then I get there and I say, "Yeah, we do this and we do that." They're like, "Brother, you going too far." I said, "Oh." That's why I had to turn it down. I had to tone down my revolutionary mind because I was out there by myself. That's why you don't see me going like that, because all I'm going to do is get unalive, because them dudes ain't like that. All them revolutionary dudes, all them dudes like this dude, they not like that. They frauds. They not none like that. Why you think the neighborhood never got better? Why you think they never built nothing? Where's RBG? Gone. Because them dudes was fake. They was pretending to be revolutionaries. Ain't none of them was revolutionaries. And that's what this man Umar did. He took black consciousness and he used the preacher's methods, but he just used black consciousness as a preacher. It was always a scam. All that stuff he's saying is fake. He ain't saying nothing real. He's a fraud. He's always been a fraud. And brothers didn't let him get away with it. Because a revolutionary, let's say I'm a revolutionary. I'm Dr. Umar. And you say, what you think about reparations for Foundation Black Americans? I'd be like, give it to them. Don't only give them reparations, give reparations. England owe reparations to Jamaica. The French owe reparations to Haiti. The French and the British owe reparations to Africa. That's what I said. What do Umar say? Y'all don't give it to them. They're going to mess the money up. Man, y'all let that man say that if they give us reparations, we're going to mess the money up. You let a man that beg us for money, that been begging us for money, Black Americans gave him money, and he's saying, don't give Black Americans no money because they're going to mess it up. You know he not nothing. He's a fraud because a revolutionary would have said, Black Americans gave me a lot of money for my school. They're going to do a lot of good with the money. Give them the money. He said we weren't going to do nothing good with the money, but he got the money for the school, and the school was for something good. Make it make some sense. He got money, though. He got money from Black Americans for the school, but he turned around and told the white man, don't give us no money because we ain't going to do nothing good with it, but we did good and we gave it to him. Don't tell my son don't mess with nobody and you call the school the Frederick Douglass School. Where we do that at? And Frederick Douglass was married to a white woman. Nobody said nothing. All these smart, conscious people. It ain't that I want to disrespect Frederick Douglass, but bro, you talking double talk. You talking double talk. What do you mean, Frederick Douglass? What? Nobody said nothing. Let him get away with that. They let him get away with that. He constantly disrespecting brothers for being with white women, but name the school after a brother that be with white women. When real revolutionaries, we don't care who you with. We don't care nothing about you being with a white woman. You just ain't one of the soldiers. That's all. That's all. And revolutionary, you don't force nobody to be a soldier. You get the soldiers, and the other brothers, you leave them alone. You don't do that. You don't do that. You leave the brothers alone and you get the brothers that's with it. You don't go out here chastising no brothers based on stuff like that. That's counterproductive. You understand? It's counterproductive. You're not supposed to be out here disrespecting no brother because of what woman he with. That you don't supposed to do that. You don't supposed to do that. If you're a revolutionary, you know it's 1 billion black people out here. That brother ain't heard nothing. What he heard? Nothing. Nothing. You don't do that. And then if you got knowledge, you got knowledge. So if you got knowledge and you name the school after Frederick Douglass, why would you get out there talking about snow bunnies? This just show you the man's an idiot. The man ain't got no knowledge. You're supposed to have knowledge. We don't be judging no brothers based on who they with and all that. That we don't do that. We don't do that. You stick with the soldiers as soldiers. If you're a brother and you're married to a white woman and we driving and we seeing you get attacked by some racists, we finna cut out and help you. We're not gonna say, no, I don't help. I mean, with a white girl. You still our brother. Period. You don't get to be not our brother because you with a Chinese lady or white. No, we don't do that. So how you gonna say you don't like nobody with snow bunnies, but you name the school after Frederick Douglass and he married to this woman sitting down right here and this her white daughter? Make this make some sense. But you constantly disrespecting brothers for doing the same thing Frederick Douglass did, and you name the school after Frederick Douglass. The Snow Bunny Academy. Make that make some damn sense. I ain't say there's nothing wrong with it. I said ain't none of my business. I didn't say that. I didn't say it ain't nothing wrong with it. I said it ain't my business. It ain't my business to say if it's right or wrong. It's not my business. That's what I said. I didn't say there's nothing wrong with it. That's the wrong terminology. I said it ain't my business. It's not my business. That's what I said. That's not my business. There's no revolutionary benefit from me saying nothing to you. If you're an international revolutionary, you got a whole bunch of black men in Africa that can't talk to none but African women. Go get your army. What you worry about a brother there? You good. I ain't got no problem with you, Michael. I had to make sure they know, right? So when I be straightening y'all out, I'm not really straightening y'all out. I'm making sure that the audience, you know what I'm saying? I'm making sure that the audience know. That's it. I ain't really tripping on you. You know what I'm saying, Michael? That's why I'm glad you said something, because a lot of times when you see me straighten out, I'm not really straightening out the person. I'm straightening out my point of view to everybody else. So that they, you know what I'm saying? And this ain't got nothing to do with you, Michael. This to make sure they know how I really think. That's it. It's not none of my business because we got how many black men, and why would I be concerned with this black man when I got 1 billion soldiers out here that I should be, you know what I'm saying? There's 1 billion soldiers out here. You understand? So I'm not going to get on no internet and talk about your relationship with your woman and all that. Like Frederick Douglass. I don't got nothing against Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass was doing whatever Frederick Douglass was doing. That ain't none of my business. I still respect Frederick Douglass. That ain't none of my business. You know what I'm saying? That's not got nothing to do with what we got to do to rise up. Brothers being with women from another race can do nothing to 2 billion black people on the planet. It's impossible for us to breed out. So you're just worrying about something that's ridiculous. When you're a revolutionary, you're supposed to know math. You're supposed to know the statistics. There's no way every black man in Chicago can find a white woman. How? Where? That's a fake fear. A lot of white women don't even want you. You live in a black neighborhood. Where you going to find a white woman? That's make-believe. So everybody on the south and west side of Chicago can go find a white woman? No. So how you race mixing? You can only race mix if you mix the race. No white man is going to leave a whole bunch of white women and drive past all of them to look for no black woman. No black man is going to drive past thousands of black women to look for no woman. A man going to talk to the women they bump into. And in cases where they go to mixed schools and different stuff like that, they bump into people from different races, which scientifically is a good thing. If anybody want to really do the science, it's a good thing if a black man have babies by a white woman or Asian woman, or if a white man have a baby by a black woman. That's a good thing. That's a fact. That's a fact. Race mixing keeps both races healthy. Because if you don't bring in no new blood, you're going to be having sex with your cousin and you're going to start having babies with birth defects. You have to bring in some new blood to the race. If not, if you keep sleeping with each other, you're going to be sleeping with your sister and your brother. But that's science over their head. See, to really be a leader, you got to know science. You got to know science. You understand? You got to know science. Because if my son go out here and he get with a white woman and then he have a baby, that baby going to do two things. That baby going to go get with a white person and turn more white. But then that person might get with a black person, start turning back black, and then get with another black person, turn right back. Duh. But one thing for sure, if my son have a baby by a white person and have that mixed baby, and that mixed baby have a baby by black people, and that blood get back in the black race, that's going to make us not be sleeping with our cousin. That's going to put some distance and keep the race healthy. It'll keep the white race healthy, the Asian race, everybody. The only reason people are healthy is because some people have mixed. So, because you can't just see it in Europe, where they was doing the blue blood, they started having babies with defects. Do your research. In Europe, where they kept wanting to keep the blue blood, they ended up sleeping with relatives so close, the baby started having deformities. Look it up. This is a fact. The Europeans tried that and it did not work. They tried with that blue blood stuff and their baby started having deformities because now you're sleeping with your sister. Ain't no dominant gene. You only dominate in warm climates. In cold climates, whites is dominant. They have the dominant gene for cold weather. If you got the dominant gene, why we get cold so easy? That don't sound like dominance. They have they measuring it, they're not measuring it right. Their gene is perfect for that climate. Period. White people are superior in cold climate. If you got the dominant gene, why ain't you superior in cold climate? We superior in hot climate. That's nonsense. They're going to base it dominant off a warm climate. They're going to look at your gene. It's going to be different than a white gene, and they're going to say it's dominant. But they ain't going to take into conclusion why is that gene different? Because of warm climate. They don't take that into consideration. So they say it's dominant. It's not dominant. It's a gene for hot weather. So of course it's going to look different than the gene from cold weather. So just because it looked different, how could you say it's dominant? I mean, keep it real. Which one is dominant? The polar bear or the grizzly bear? Which one is dominant? Which one is dominant? Y'all talking about Francis Wesley. Francis Wilson, right? Which one is dominant? The polar bear or the grizzly bear? Which one is dominant? The polar bear or the grizzly bear? What's the difference in the grizzly bear and the polar bear and the white man and the black man? It's a black bear and a white bear. It's a bear from a warm climate. It's a bear from a cold climate. We a man from a warm climate. The white man's a man from a cold climate. What is the difference? Which one is dominant? A polar bear whoop a grizzly bear ass. A polar bear is bigger than a grizzly bear. Polar bears are generally larger than grizzly bears. Polar bears are the largest bear species and are also the largest land carnivore. I rest my case. How could the largest, biggest one be less dominant? A polar bear got what he need to make it in the cold climate, and the grizzly bear got what he need to make it in this climate. The black man got what he need to make it in this climate, and the white man got what he need. And you not dominant, a white man will do you dirty in cold climate because he'll be more equipped than you. So what good is your dominant gene if you can't dominate anywhere in the world? And you cannot dominate a white man in cold climate, period. Just like he can't dominate you in hot climate. You understand? That's all nonsense, y'all. All that stuff was nonsense. That stuff was off of black people that felt like they was already been treated inferior, and people call them the N-word. So they started trying to take philosophies to give themselves some superiority. That's all that was. So they started taking philosophies to make themselves superiority. You understand? That shit's not real. Everybody is dominant in their environment. You can't compare people from different environments. That's not up-to-date knowledge. We got knowledge now. You can't compare a man from this region to a man from that region because each one is going to have what's best for their region. So how are you going to determine which one is dominant when this one is dominant in South America and this one is dominant in Europe? That don't make no sense. You're only going to have what you need in your area. So here in Chicago, when the Bears play at Soldiers Field in January below zero, you ain't going to see no black people out there with their shirts off. The only ones you're going to see out there with their shirts off below zero with bears spelling out bears on their naked checks is white men. You're not going to see no black people out there with their shirts off. That's just all nonsense. Like nonsense make-believe. It's the opposite of what whites did when they made themselves superior. Then blacks turn around and try to, it's the opposite of the same foolishness. Basically, nobody is superior. Nobody has a dominant gene. This fool gonna say, if you have sex with the white lady, the baby gonna come out browner. The baby gonna come out whiter too. So what? He said the baby gonna come out browner. The baby gonna come out kind of brown. The baby gonna come out kind of white too. So if the baby is a split between white and black, how you gonna say somebody got a dominant gene? The only way you can say you have a dominant gene is you have a baby by a white woman and that baby come out all black just like you. Okay? That's the only way. If I have sex with a white woman and that baby come out dark brown, then you can say I got a dominant gene. But if that baby come out lighter than me, how is my gene dominant when that gene lightened my baby? Make some sense. And you can't say she got a dominant gene or the baby would be all white. If either one of our genes was dominant, the baby would be 100% like that one. Duh. The babies always look mixed. You understand? Duh. Duh. That's how we know you mixed. How do we know you mixed? Because you mixed. If you wouldn't be mixed, you'd be dominant. If the white man say he got a dominant gene and he have a baby by a black woman, that baby would come out all white just like him. But if that baby come out and look mixed, that means no gene is dominant. Period. Ain't no lady could write nothing in no book and change the facts that the baby gonna come out half and half. That baby is not gonna come out dominant either way. That's nonsense. You know what I'm saying? That's nonsense. You young people supposed to take the knowledge further than where I got it. You're not supposed to be repeating my shit. You're supposed to be upgrading it. Recessive genes is something somebody made up. That's what it is. Because I ain't never had no recessive genes unless they was too tight. And you go to school to be brainwashed. You don't go to school to learn nothing. The school is full of dummies. The school is full of dummies. The schools are full of dummies. I had a man, and we're going to get back to the subject. I had a man when I was at a business college in LA. I had a man come from the medical field. He talking about aspirin. He say, we test our aspirin for sometimes up to 20 years before we put them on the market, so we know they safe. Everybody in the school believe that shit. I said, can I ask you a question? He said, yes, young man. I said, you say you test your aspirin for 20 years. He said, yeah. I said, so if I get your aspirin and take it for 20 years, do you gonna know what's gonna happen by the time I get to year 25? Because you only test them for 20 years. Furthermore, if I put them on my kids, did you test them for 25 years for me and then my kids for 20 years? He said, no. I said, well, therefore, your test is inconclusive. He said, you're 100% correct. I use my own common sense that was given to me. And I think for myself. I don't listen to no book and no school. If you test something for 20 years, but you put it out here for 100 years, then that means your test, that means we all, as soon as 20 years old, we all guinea pigs. I'm saying that in reference to scholars and all these smart people. Why is raining like that? Why is flooding? Why is earthquakes everywhere? Why is people starving? Why is all this destruction if everybody's so smart? You feel me? But much respect to the sister, though. She did her thing at that time. I respect people's knowledge at that time. I respect what Elijah Muhammad said at that time. But don't try to compare him to me now. That's all I'm saying. keep them in the era they at and say it was great what they did at that era. I would agree to that. Henry Ford made a car, but it ain't go faster than no car nobody make now. You understand? So when we get back to this dude, he practiced to be a black conscious scammer. Okay? He practiced. Now, two things is going to happen. He's either going to go to prison or he's going to start working for the feds. If he don't go to prison, he's going to be hotter than a firecracker to get people indicted. Facts. Because if you collect that much money, you're going to have to be accountable for every penny. If it's a non-for-profit and he spent it like it was money for profit, he's going to prison. If he was asking for money after he already didn't have none, he's going to prison. If he can't account for every penny that he collected, he's going to prison for fraud and all other type of shit. If he don't go to prison, he cooperating with the feds. And in both cases, it's like the book of Revelation. Because he says to Frederick Douglass, right, school, and he don't like snow bunnies, and Frederick Douglass was married to a snow bunny. He says to Marcus Garvey, and Marcus Garvey was a two-bit con man that went to prison for scamming, that took people's money and bought junk ships that wasn't seaworthy. So he didn't spend the money they gave him. He spent less and bought junk ships. So it's very interesting that he likes Frederick, naming after Frederick Douglass, and he don't like snow bunnies. Frederick Douglass married, and he named after Marcus Garvey, who was a two-bit piece of shit scam artist that took black people's money and went and bought some junk-ass, raggedy-ass ships that wasn't seaworthy. He's just like Marcus Garvey, a piece of shit. He's exactly like Marcus Garvey, a two-bit con man. Yeah, that way. He's just like Marcus Garvey. That school is just like Garvey's ships. Yes, the Black Star Line, founded by Marcus Garvey, purchased ships in poor conditions, just like that fucking school. For example, the SS Yarmouth, the company's first ship, had been used as a coal boat in World War I and was in a dilapidated state when acquired by the Black Star Line. The Yarmouth plates were covered with rust. The SS Shady Side, look, the Revelations, the shit was shady. He bought a boat called the Shady Side. Another vessel purchased by the company was also old and sank after developing leaks. Imagine if black people was on them boats in the middle of the ocean going to Africa and it sank. The steam yacht Kanawha, renamed the SS Antonio Maceo, experienced a boiler explosion during its first voyage for the company, resulting in a fatality. Marcus Garvey went and bought raggedy ships that wasn't seaworthy Jamaicans sold their property, left their property in the hills and came to Kingston. And the Black Star Liner never showed up. And they end up in Kingston and it became a shanty town and it became crime and they lost all their property. That's why the Jamaicans hated him and threw rocks and boulders when he got out of prison and he had to leave and go to Canada. The Jamaicans hated him. They phony because now they pretend they like him. But when Garvey got out of prison, Jamaicans stoned him because they lost all their money thinking the Black Star Liner going to come just like y'all thought that school was going to open. This man named his school after two people. One he don't like because he's with snow bunnies, and the other one was a two-bit con man just like him, Marcus Garvey. A snake and a two-bit con man that the feds told him if he get out and shut up, they won't tell black people what he really did. And he go back to Africa and he died in Europe and he never went to Africa. You understand? What you telling me for, Anthony? You believe him? That's on you. What you want me to say? Okay, he said that. Okay, and if I'm telling you he's a snake, why are you telling me what a snake said? I'm telling you he's full of shit, and you telling me what he said. Make it make some sense, Anthony. Do I think he would survive in prison? I mean, anybody can survive in prison. If he go to prison, he going to the Fed joint, most likely going to the Feds. He could survive or not survive. He could survive in prison. Because he's scamming. He talking to the black woman, wear my 5'5", thick in the thighs, making black women feel like it's a man out there and taking their money, pimping the sisters. He getting money from black men too. He pimping the sisters. He was a Pan-African pimping. Look. How did that guy turn to this guy? It was by design. You see them little fake dreads on the top of his head? He said, I gotta look black so I can run the blacks, but this the real him. But he couldn't get no traction as a Negro. So he became Dr. Umar instead of Johnson. He became Watanda Kunda Kabando. He made up this black, super black character, but this the real him right here. This man was too grown to flip like that. When you flip from this to this, you be young. You flip at 20. 18, 19 is when you go conscious. Now there's no grown-ass man like that. Talk about you got a bunch of degrees that can't nobody prove. Look, how did this man turn into this man? And why? To run a play. I'm going to be the King Kong of consciousness. Listen, when Sarnetta was hot, was he the King Kong of consciousness? No. He was not the King Kong of consciousness when Sarnetta TV was the house of consciousness. When Sarnetta TV was the house of consciousness, Umar was nothing. Okay? He wasn't nothing. He synced that. He seen people was getting fame over there, right? And then he said, and he switched. He switched because of Sarnetta TV. That's a fact. When I first started watching Sarnetta, this was Umar. On my soul. And then he seen, like a lot of brothers start growing dreadlocks when they see you could be a superstar. You could get people to listen to you. So when I went live, all them people was following me. But then I didn't do what they wanted to hear. They wanted me to sell them a dream. And when I didn't sell a dream, brothers like, oh, he ain't consciousness. They wanted me to talk that white people ain't this. They wanted me to talk this scam. And I wouldn't do it. And so a lot of people stopped messing with me because I wasn't what they had been brainwashed to believe was consciousness. There is no consciousness. The root of consciousness is not black. The root of consciousness is plant-based, is food, period. That's why when he seen that later, he started going to little vegan restaurants and shit. Because the root of consciousness is food, period. And when you don't hear them talk about food, they frauds. Noble Drew Ali had an eating plan. Elijah Muhammad had an eating plan. Rasta had an eating plan. Hebrew Israelites over in Israel, all vegans. Without an eating plan, it is not consciousness. Period. Without an eating plan, it's fake. What is consciousness? Consciousness is awareness. That means you know what's in your products. How are you conscious, but you don't know what you're putting on your body and putting in your mouth? How is you strong when you can't resist Babylon's food? So how are you going to be a revolutionary when you have no self-control? And you're going to tell me, man, Pharaoh, I want to be a revolutionary, but I just love chicken. I can't get off chicken. All right, then, you not no soldier. You weak. You'll sell us out for a bucket of chicken. There's no consciousness without eating. This is why a lot of people don't like me, because I won't allow you to be no type of shit if you don't eat right. Now I respect you if you don't eat right and you're a regular black person. Then I'll try to help you. I don't look down on you if you're a brother and sister and you ain't vegan. I don't look down on you. But if you talking conscious shit and you ain't plant-based, you a bitch. You fake. Period. You ain't shit. You a liar. What house you coming under? Because you sure ain't coming under Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad's trying to get people to eat once a day. You sure ain't coming under Ben Ami Ben Israel. You sure ain't learned nothing from Dick Gregory. You sure ain't Ital like Rasta. Consciousness is awareness. It's not Ital food. Consciousness is awareness. So if you eating red dye, How the hell is you conscious? Conscious mean awake. Unconscious mean what? You're knocked out. Conscious mean awake. How are you conscious when you don't know what you're eating? How are you aware? When I go take some out your refrigerator and say, what's in this? And you don't know. That's not conscious. They try to make conscious just like black talk, like just talks in black. That's how you had the NFAC sent the agent in, set everybody up, got everybody's information, went on the march, point his rifle at the FBI agent on purpose, get arrested and get debriefed and take off the street, run in this house, get everybody address, everybody information. Everybody that joined the NFAC, the FBI got all your information. That guy was a plant. They had it down by then. They had them talk about eating right. Y'all didn't notice that? They upgraded. And they told them, oh, you can't be black conscious if you don't talk about eating right. So that guy from the NFAC, remember how he was talking about eating, being a vegan? The feds know that. They know now to really be that, you got to eat right. So awareness is total awareness. You're aware of racism. You're aware of sexism. You're aware of the food. You're aware of the environment. You're aware of the climate. You're aware of everything. Consciousness is not limited. Consciousness is 360 degrees. You have to be rounded. It's not like, just black situations consciousness. That's not what you called. Consciousness is consciousness. Being aware. Well, these agents come and try to fit consciousness into a hole so you won't be aware, because there's nobody conscious going to say don't give black people reparations because they're going to mess the money up. The same person begging you for money. Right then, y'all should have had a fit. Y'all weak. You weak. You let a man ask you for money, but tell the government don't give you no money because you're going to mess it up. The man didn't have no decency enough to say, well, they've been giving me money, so yeah, give them some money. And he was stupid, but you know why he really said that? Because these conscious people, if you get money and you get economically liberated, you don't need them no more. You only need them if you stay under the belly of the beast, if you stay messed up. I'm not trying to get involved with the nonsense, but I got a duty to tell y'all the truth. That's the only reason I say certain stuff, only for y'all. I'm not trying to tear nobody down. I just want y'all to know the facts. That this consciousness and stuff been a fraud. They've been out trying to pimp y'all. Okay? They've been out trying to pimp you. They never really wanted to build. They didn't want to build. Everybody just wanted to make money off of you. There was never no intentions to build. There was never no intentions to help the community. Because many of them had crazy childhoods. And when you have a crazy childhood coming up, then you grow up crazy. Stefan, how can I speak for Dr. Umar? I don't know Dr. Umar. I don't follow him 24 hours a day. I don't know what he eats. But he'll eat vegan to look conscious. That's what I'm trying to tell you. He upgraded when he seen veganism and eating right. All of a sudden, he started going to restaurants showing he eating vegan food. That was part of the hustle. At first, that wasn't a requirement. But as time went, that slowly became a thing. He's seen so many sisters and brothers starting to go vegan. He synced all these conscious people start talking about alkaline and vegan. Next thing you know, he had the vegan restaurant. That's all pimping. Because when you go to Sarnetta, they wasn't pushing no vegan shit. Now, vegan, you can't even talk. When you're looking at conscious, now you're looking at Yaki, you're looking at people like that. They represent the consciousness now. It's went to where it's supposed to go. So now all of a sudden, he want to pimp in on that. So I seen him now all of a sudden, he going to vegan restaurants. Phony. Phony. And he's losing his mind. He's got mental issues, and now he's showing. If you look at him here and you look at him now, he's crazy. And this is what happened when you wicked and you ain't doing righteous. Now he's going crazy. Going straight to the feds. Y'all can't tell he done lost his mind? Go watch old Dr. Umar, watch the new one. The new one is crazy. You can see it. The new one is crazy. You can see it. You up there asking for money that you going to prison, you asking for money when you done already messed up money. You done messed up all these people money. And now you say you need $20,000. But you raised more than enough money that you spent for the school. So where is the rest of the money? You did not spend all the money you raised. Because some people said you raised $1.5 million. You ain't spent no $1 million on the school, especially $1.5 million. So why you need $20,000? So to cover your ass, you're going to say at the same time, you get to notice the school is closed. You know, we don't know it. You're going to go and say, my bank account is closed to get ahead of the story. To get ahead of the story, he know if the school is closed and he need $20,000, he know people going to say, well, you raised all that money. So what he going to do? He been knew that they was going to close the school when he first asked for some more money. When he came out and said his bank account was closed, that's when he found out the school was going to be sold. And he didn't come tell y'all the school was going to be closed. He come tell you a lie. They shut down his bank accounts. Wah. But he been knew they was closing the school and he don't got the rest of the money. So now he lying. He lying. And he's going to the Fed joint because he's doing all this in front of the feds. Now, how you going to teach your kids something? He's so stupid that he on the internet committing fraud. He's on the internet committing fraud. Straight out. And he's going in cuffs any day. And he's going to prison for all type of shit. It's rules when you get a non-for-profit. It's rules when you raising money. All that stuff, you got to go to the government to do that. To raise money, you have to go through the government, and there's rules to that. He's going to prison or he's going to turn informant. Let's take a break and we'll finish. Support the channel. You're seeing with Lord Jamar how he said, I don't need no help. The reason he say he don't need no help, because he knew he messed up the money. He didn't want Lord Jamar to come in and find out about this scam. This man is the only person who gonna open up a school, and they the only person. One person, and he gonna open up a school by himself. He don't want no how you can open up a school by yourself. Then in the process, he's showing you he don't got the temperament to teach no kids. You would send your kids to him? The man is not qualified to run no school. You can't run a school. Have women bring their children up to school and always talk about crushing cookies. That means you're going to try to talk to them kids' mama. The man is stupid. If you're trying to be the person that run a school, you're not going to say anything sexual. This man is saying stuff that would make nobody want to bring their kids around. Yeah, he asked him for 40K. He gonna get 40K, he gonna get 40 years, he gonna get 40 years, he going to prison. Who will take their kids to him? Then he told all his sisters business. She don't smell, this and that and that. What honorable man do that? How you can teach your children something? Where's all his documents of all these degrees he got? Because I believe all that's fraudulent. I don't believe that man got nothing. I believe that man's whole thing is a fraud. There's nobody open up a school gonna behave like that. Okay, I'm gonna open up a school for children and I'm gonna be trying to talk to every woman I meet. That's a conflict of interest. He went and did that. When he went in there and threw all that stuff on the floor, he did that. The man crazy. He did that. He did that. He spent that money as fast as you send it to him. His mama's in a wheelchair and can barely move around in the house. He won't let nobody go in there to make sure she's safe. They say he's a hoarder. He got stuff all over the house. There's nowhere for his mama to move. This man flying all over the place and leaving his mama there with a wheelchair. Now just think about that. His mama's in a wheelchair. This man flying all over. Who taking care of his mama? The lady said that his mama called him the devil. And ain't nobody can go save his mama. His mama, it's all they're gonna go in there and get that woman. That man going to prison. I guarantee you that woman's living in squalor, sitting around for days. Who's changing her? Because I took care of my father. You got to change them 2 or 3 times. You got to bathe them. He took a lady he didn't know and left her 3 weeks with his mama. You can see the man's crazy. Nobody can come in his house. He don't like his father. He don't like his daughter. He don't like nobody. Yeah, it's deeper than we know. It's all going to come out. The man's crazy. The man is taking his mama's money. I guarantee you that man taking his mama's Social Security. And ain't getting her. That man is taking them Social Security checks. You trust me what I'm telling you. You trust me what I'm telling you. He ain't no psychologist. He's a psychopathic liar. That man ain't none of that, man. This was all fraudulent. And when he seen that this couldn't work, when this didn't work, and he couldn't get nowhere with this, tell me he don't look like a goofy. Look at this picture. The man's a goofy. When that didn't work, he went this route. Because he wasn't going to get no traction like this. Couldn't get no traction like that. Like that, he had to compete with other brothers look like that. And other brothers look like that, really get money, really businessmen. So if he carried himself like this, the standard would have been too high. But he know if he carry himself like this, the standard is low. They're going to let you get away with all kind of shit if you talk that black conscious shit. Black consciousness got low standards. This is a fact. I've been in this community for how long? So he knew it would be less standards if he looked like this. If he looked like this, the standard, they would have been locked him up if that school wasn't open. They would have been stopped giving him his money if he looked like that. But if he looked like this, he can play the black, we black, and the white man trying to take the school from us. They trying to take our school. So he can play on you with race. If he put on some red, black, and green, he can't play the race card like this. He got to compete with the other brothers and sisters that look like this, and he can't. I've been in this. You can run a gang like this, like with the reggae. Brothers was coming being Rastas so they could sleep with all the women. They really wasn't Rastas. They was reggaeites. So in the late 70s, mid 70s or late 70s, all the way up to like 83, 84, they was real Rastas. But once they seen that reggae and Rasta was popular, then all the fake people all of a sudden became Rasta. But they was doing it to be on stage and sleep with all the ladies. They wasn't on repatriation, reparation, and restoration. They wasn't on ital is vital. They just was reggaeites trying to sleep with all the women. So they and the biggest women they was around was white women, and white women was coming to Jamaica and spending their money like Umar for these reggaeites to hang out with them. This is all real history. This is all history. And they even made up a name for it. Guess what they called them? They started calling them a renter dread. They started calling them a renter dread. These are the males with dreadlocks that can be seen profiling with female tourists, usually white, at most tourist destinations in Jamaica. And they called them renter dread, where they went and used Rasta to be black conscious to sleep with women. These is all facts. And that's what Umar is doing. Yeah, his behavior has changed. He's going crazy. But he always was a kind man. You don't become a snake. You're born a snake. The man never been honest. He just tried to figure out a way. What's the best way he could con black people? And the best way to con black people is with black consciousness. That's the best way. With black consciousness and positive talk, you can con your people. And that's, once again, that's why people didn't like me, because I never came over here trying to be liked, and I didn't play the black conscious thing. So when brothers see me, they start following me thinking I was black conscious, which I am, but I wasn't saying what you're supposed to say because it would have been a scam. Now, if I wanted to get a lot of likes and be big, I wouldn't criticize Africa. I would say it's the motherland, the white man in there doing. I would have bullshitted y'all. But when I came in criticizing the Africans, brothers like, oh, he ain't black conscious. Because to be black conscious, I got to lie to you. I got to bullshit you. I got to sell you an image. That's why black people ain't going nowhere, because black consciousness ain't about self-improvement. It's about blaming it on the white man. No self checks and balances on self. So then people didn't like me. Because I'm coming over here telling you to eat right and shit like that. Nobody wanted to hear it. Brothers want to argue. Brothers want to say weird shit. You understand? Brothers don't like it. Brothers want to hear weird shit. Brothers want to say stuff based on where they at in life, right? So you really can't get nothing done because every brother got a personal reason why he's saying something, and the reason he's saying it don't be legit. It be based on his own shortcomings. You understand? Facts. It be based on their shortcomings. It be based on what they like and what they don't like. Most of the stuff they be saying be totally incorrect. You understand? It should be totally incorrect. For example, look at FBA, right? And look at Africans. That ain't supposed to go like that. That's going like that because ain't nobody really coming with the intelligent way of doing it. They coming with a divisive way that ain't got nothing to do with nothing. Basically, to feed the unnecessarily division, which gonna undermine reparations. Because now you more into arguing than you are reparations. Reparations gonna come from white America, gonna come from Bank of America and shit. So why the fuck is you talking about Africans all fucking day? So now brothers is beefing with Africans and they ain't beefing with the Bank of America and Wells Fargo for our motherfucking money. That's COINTELPRO. That's COINTELPRO. Look how they got these brothers. All they doing is beefing with the Africans, but reparations come from white businesses. And beefing under FBA and ADOS, which is built off of reparations. Yet ADOS, reparations, and then FBA built off of that, which is built off of reparations. It's not built off of beefing with Africans. Not at all. So on revolutionary term, this shit pussy because you want to go at the little fish and you don't want to go at the big fish. To me. Some of the brothers got legitimate reasons, but is it really the revolutionary way to go? Look at this and you tell me. ain't see no Africans on the list. Now look how many more brothers jumped into FBA to beef, right? Look how many brothers that wasn't going to never stand for reparations, but when they seen the beef, they jumped their bitch asses in it. Bitch nigga shit. You gonna go after small fry, you ain't gonna go after the motherfucker that really mistreated your family, owe you money. You gonna go after some Africans. You ain't got shit to say about Bank of America, Wells Fargo, none of them. You gonna bitch up and go for something that ain't even the target. And now look at the reparations. This whole year has been dead. It's all tethers, and bullshit. No pressure on white corporate America for the money. All kind of pussy niggas jumping in the shit to beef like little bitches. Because it ain't no leadership like me, because I'll call you some bitches anytime you're going to let the big people go and go for the small. No, that's bitch nigga. You're going to let these people take all your money, but you're going to go after some other motherfuckers. Like a bitch. Because if you was really that, you'll go after Wells Fargo. If you was really that, that's like I go to the park, there's some gangsters there, but I want to beat up the little kids. Because these niggas ain't on reparations. They just like the beef. They some internet hoes. Some hoes. Scared. You scared of Wells Fargo. You scared of the motherfucker that really owe you money. So you want to beef with some fucking Africans that don't owe you shit. Pussy shit. And now look, we towards the end of summer. Tell me the reparations push ain't died totally. Motherfucker can't tell me nothing. Look at the reparations movement before the election started and look at it now. Dead. They killed it. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me these hoe ass niggas didn't kill reparations. Pussy niggas ain't going for the big bag. A nigga want to come over here and tell me about some Africans and shit. Man, I don't want to hear that shit, bitch nigga. I don't want to hear that shit. Talk to me about Wells Fargo, Bank of America, and all them people I just showed that owe you money. If you ain't going at them, you a bitch. No, it's not like it. Because they like to argue and they bitches. They not never gonna go for the real problem. They always gonna go. Same with the Africans. The Africans want to argue with us while motherfuckers in Africa taking all their shit. Tell me I'm lying. The foundational Black Americans and the Africans is some bitches. Both of them getting robbed by Europeans. The Africans getting robbed by Europeans and Chinese. How your African ass got time to beef with me? The Black American, right, is getting raped by white companies. Tell me why they beefing with the Africans, and both of them getting raped. They both getting raped by non-black people, but they arguing with the other black person that's getting raped. So it's two great victims arguing. The Africans is great victims, and the foundational Black Americans is great victims. And they arguing who getting raped the most. They raping y'all more in Africa. They only graping me from the front. They graping you from the front and the back and all that. Now, you like that, you can go all day with that. Look, he say, just like them migrants, but then mad at us. Now, I said both sides, didn't I? The perfect example. Look, I ain't said none of this shit he's saying, right? I said he fucking up, ain't I? I said he fucking up and they fucking up. He come and say, just like them. But he ain't standing on reparations on his side. His side ain't standing on shit. Mr. Nice One. His side ain't standing on what they supposed to stand on. He came and showed you, did just what I told you. He ain't got nothing. He ain't saying nothing about Bank of America, Wells Fargo, and these whites that owe us money. He ain't saying nothing. He said the migrants. He talked about the migrants. All he did was prove my point. Got nothing to say about corporate America that's doing him from the back. Ain't got nothing to say. Got to say something about the migrants. Got to say something. I'm showing you. And it's not his fault. The people led him like that. Misled the brother. I'm getting him back on track. He going to think about it and be like, damn, this nigga right. They put that shit out there. They put that shit out there. How African that's getting robbed by Europe and Asia got any time to focus on me? How an African get chased out their continent and come over here and mad at me, but not mad at the people that chased them out their country and drove the continent broke, so they had to come over here. Never addressed why they had to come over here. Want to come over here and compete with me while somebody else robbed their continent. Want to come over here and drive a car, an electric car, that got the cobalt in it that's stolen from their continent. Want to come over here and go to the jewelry store and buy their gold to put on their white finger from some Jewish people, and it's their fucking gold. How many African jewelry stores do we have? None. But all the gold and diamonds in Africa. But it showed me Africans in the jewelry business in the United States. And the Africans don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about how you come from a place, got all the gold and diamonds, and come over here and you don't control no gold and diamonds, but you want to argue with foundational Black Americans. Make that make some sense. And foundational Black Americans, you've been graped by all these companies, but you want to argue with Africans. And while you arguing with Africans, Trump's going to send military to your Black cities and lock your ass up. And lock the Africans up too. All you niggas going to be in concentration camps. Looking at each other crazy. Like, damn, we was out there arguing, and now we all in concentration camps. Suckers. Suckers. They ain't messing with us. You messing with them too. Ain't no messing with us. I keep telling you, bro. You one-sided. I'm gonna have to get you out of here. You one-sided. I'm not saying none of that you said. Let me delete this. He constantly tries to say how they messing with us, but we constantly talking crazy to them. You see? He wants to, Mr. Nice One, he wants to flame that they doing something to us. He ain't said not one thing about America raping him. You know what I'm saying? He ain't saying nothing about the people that owe him reparations because he ain't ready to fight that serious battle. He want to do the pussy shit. The easy. That's the easy stuff. They this, they that, they. See, with reparations, you really got to stand on business and holler at the companies to give you your money. That's too serious. So they want to get on the internet, just type, and Africans this and Africans that. See, that's easy. That's easy. That's girl shit. And then they do this, and then they do that, and then they doing this. Why these people got all your fucking money, and you don't want to get your ancestors' money? You over here talking about driving Uber, and I used to drive Uber, and Black Americans is driving Uber, saying stupid shit too. Saying stupid shit, because I used to drive Uber. Talking about come over here driving Uber. No, we was driving Uber. We doing DoorDash. Yeah. Yeah, foundational Black Americans is driving Uber and doing DoorDash. And doing Instacart. Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about. Saying shit don't even, lying, don't even know what the fuck he talking about. Don't even know what the fuck he talking about. Talking about they driving Uber. And when we was driving Uber, Africans was driving cabs. You understand? I don't know what you talk about, bro. I see what you talk about. You talking bullshit, okay, Mr. Nice One? And I already warned you. And you constantly saying the opposite of what I'm saying. How long you think I'm gonna let you stay over here and keep saying little shit that ain't what I'm saying? You're not my friend if I'm saying go left and you talking about go right. And I'm constantly saying both sides need to stop. And you constantly saying day. And I'm saying both sides. And you ain't saying both sides. You saying them. You know, as a matter of fact, come back tomorrow, bro. Come back tomorrow. Yeah, come back tomorrow, bro, because I ain't got no tolerance for no bullshit. Now, if you slow, go to a slow school with the slow kids. Because I ain't got time to try to raise no grown-ass man to keep telling grown-ass man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got time to play with you, bro. Because you Mr. Nice. I ain't motherfucking nice. You Mr. Nice One. I'm Mr. Fuck you, get the fuck out of here. Yeah, I'm not Mr. Nice. I'm Mr. Fuck you, get the fuck out of here since you can't understand what the fuck I'm saying. Because ain't nobody playing with you. You know goddamn well what I'm saying. The reparations, you one of the people that killed the reparations movement, Mr. Nice One. You one of the ones. You're one of the ones that destroyed the reparations movement with your petty shit against Africa, and you ain't gonna run up on not one African and say a goddamn thing. Because they can fight just like you can fight. Because what y'all be forgetting, Africa is still a nigga. African is a nigga just like I'm a nigga. Y'all got it fucked up. It's still a black nigga. They're going to handle his business. So I don't know what the fuck y'all talk about. African ain't got my goddamn reparations. People like him destroyed reparations. Dr. Umar never speak on reparations. They sold out what's important for some bullshit. I'm telling you. Sold out. Because the black man is a bitch. He don't never stand on important issues. He always pick the easy issue. He always pick the pussy route. He ain't gonna stand on the hard stuff. He ain't gonna do it. I didn't like it. I just didn't say nothing. But I didn't like it. And now I look all these months and look, reparations never came back. I thought they would do the tether thing for a while and come back to reparations. Never came back. It's just tether, tether, tether. Reparations disappeared. Ain't nobody talking about it. It's gone. They killed it. Arguing with Africans. Let the white businesses right off the goddamn hook. Now, how you a strong man and you let the big fish off the hook that owe you money and you argue with a motherfucker gonna owe you nothing? Umar, he ain't from here. He's some kind of, I think he's some kind of mixed person. So he ain't trying to stand on reparation. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's gone. It's gone. The Africans and the foundation of Black Americans is some fucking idiots. How you a damn African, right? No, fool. I don't think that. I don't think nothing. I think Reggie Jackson, I think you a two-time loser. That's what I think. I think you's a dumb nigga that's a pussy and don't want to get reparations. You scared of the white man. That's what I think. I think you scared of the white man. I think you scared of Bank of America. You scared of Wells Fargo. You scared of the people that made all that money off of cotton. The Africans didn't make no money off of cotton. I think you's a bitch and you scared. Okay? That's what I think. And it's a block party. Get your whole ass out of here. Because you's a bitch. That's what I think. And you's a dumb nigga. And that you don't know nothing about reparations. That's why you talking stupid. Reparations has nothing to do with no Africans. And can't no poor African give me shit. And how you going to get reparations from Africans when Africans is controlled by white people? So you still would have to get it from white people, dumb nigga. How you going to get reparations from Africans when Africa is controlled by Europe? Stupid. I ain't got time for no stupid niggas. He talking about get money from the Africans. See, these brothers dumb. Ain't nobody teaching them nothing. How you gonna get money from the Africans when the Africans is paying tax to the colonial countries right now? The Africans paying money to Europe. Europe own them. And he talking about getting money from a place that Europe is exploiting. That's what you talking about. Show me where you so dumb that Africans got to flee Africa because of poverty, and you believe you can get money from Africans that's fleeing because of poverty. Make it make some type of sense. How you gonna get money from Nigeria when Shell owns Nigeria and is sucking all the oil out of Nigeria and making all the money? And why is he stupid? Because the leadership ain't taught him nothing. He proven what I'm saying. He's supposed to already know what I'm saying, wasn't he? He's supposed to know this. So imagine how many foundational Black Americans don't even know that really believe that they can get money from an African country that's ran by Europeans. They think the Africans is independent. That's what they think. That fool think the Africans is independent. Lord, prove my point. He said we're supposed to get the money from the Africans, and the Africans, all their money going to Europe. He don't know nothing about the Congo, them in the Congo taking all the cobalt, all the coltan. He don't know nothing about them taking all the chocolate, all the gold, all that stuff going to Europe. All that stuff going to Europe. Ain't nobody teaching these brothers shit on this internet. All they do is argue. And don't know shit. And you meet them in real life, they ain't on shit. On the internet, they do all this typing. You meet these niggas in real life, they a fool. They don't know nothing. They don't know shit. Nigga on this internet running his mouth, don't know nothing. Don't got no knowledge of shit. Just argue like a bitch. They just want to argue. That's why you can't build with the black man. Because he argue like a bitch. He ain't got that diplomacy, that king. He don't move like no king. They don't move like kings, like can sit down at the round table and get to the issue. They want to talk. You know what I'm saying? And he go to issue right here. And they all, but what about my ass itching? And you talking about the serious, they talking about my booty's itching though. What about the fact my booty itching? Shit like that. Like off the wall bullshit. A nigga get on here with his little face on a little circle and be saying bullshit. Talking about get some money from Africans. The nigga say Africans got to come over here and drive Uber. Then he said get money from Africans. Nigga, what? If the Africans got to flee Africa and drive Uber, what money? What? You mean go to one of them African countries and ask for reparations? The African countries that paying the Europeans reparations? The African countries that's getting their weapons from Europeans and Chinese? The African countries that's in massive debt, Ghana debt, Ethiopia debt, Kenya debt, is definitely that Burkina finna be in debt. And go ask them for money. But the people that actually took your money, the people that actually made you pick the cotton and made more than trillions, the banks that sold slave clothes and all that, nothing. Look, you know we're gonna keep it real. Let look. This is why I be getting in trouble. This is why I be having to take my live streams down and put them on Instagram. My shit be too motherfucking real. And I don't know how to behave. But look, I will do this. So you don't think I'm just talking. Let's look at the facts. Hold on. Let's look at the facts. Let's break it down. I'll show you. I'll show you. So we don't get it mixed up. Hold on. Let me show you. We don't want to get mixed up. Some people might not know. So let me not jump the gun on something you might not know. If I could find it. Hold on. You might not know. So let me not jump the gun and go off on y'all on something you don't even know. I got to remember, the people ain't doing their job. So you might not know none of this shit. Let me see if I can find it. Ugh. You might not know none of this stuff while I'm jumping off the deep end. But I'm like, that pissed me off too, because y'all supposed to know this. Y'all supposed to know this stuff. I'm not understanding why you don't know. I'm not understanding why you don't know this.
13 corporations that profited from slavery. So here we go. Number 1, J.P. Morgan Chase. Between 1831 and 1865, two predecessor banks, Citizens Bank and Canal Bank in Louisiana, accepted approximately 13,000 enslaved individuals as collateral on loans and took ownership of approximately 1,250 of them when the plantation owners defaulted on the loans. Number 2, New York Life, an insurance company, sold insurance policies on enslaved Africans. Number 3, Wachovia. Two historical predecessors owned enslaved Africans and accepted them as payment. Number 4, N.M. Rothschild and Sons Bank in London. Nathan Mayer Rothschild, the banking family's 19th century patriarch, made personal gains by using enslaved Africans as collateral in dealings with a slave owner. I have a list of this, so if I stumble, it's because I have a lot of chicken scratch. Number 4, Norfolk Southern offered slaveholders $180. That's $3,379 today. This article was written in 2013. So that's $3,379 today a piece for enslaved Africans they would rent to the railroad for 1 year. The Central Georgia, another company aligned with Norfolk Southern Line today, valued slaves at $31,303. Today that would be $663,033. Did I say that right? Yes. $663,033. Hopefully that came out right. Sounds weird. Number 5, U.S. Today found that their parent company, E.W. Scripps and Gannett, had links to the slave trade. Number 6, Fleet Boston evolved from an early financial institution. Providence Bank founded John Brown, who was a slave trader and owned ships used to transport enslaved Africans. The bank financed Brown's slave voyages and profited from them. Brown even reportedly helped charter what became Brown University. Number 7, CSX used slave labor to construct portions of U.S. rail lines under the political and legal system that was in place more than a century ago. Two enslaved Africans were John Henry and Reuben. The record states they were to be returned clothed when they arrived to work for the company. Number 8, Canadian National Railway Company. The Mobile and Ohio, now part of Canadian National, valued their slaves lost to the war and emancipation at $199,691 on record. That amount is currently worth $2.2 million. Whew. Number 9, Brown Brothers Harriman. The oldest and largest private investment bank, founded 1818, owned hundreds of enslaved Africans and financed the cotton economy by lending millions to Southern planters, merchants, and cotton brokers. Number 10, Brooks Brothers. High-end suit retailer, got their start selling slave clothes to various slave traders in the 1800s. They got their start by selling slave clothes. Number 11, Barclays. British multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in London has now conceded that companies brought over the years may have been involved in the slave trade. Number 12, Lehman Brothers. This business empire started in the slave trade. Quote from Joe Pelizzotto: "This is a sad part of our history or our heritage. We're deeply apologetic. It was a terrible thing. There's no one sitting in the United States in the year 2005, hopefully, who would ever in a million years defend the practice." 13, Aetna. Aetna? Aetna. U.S. largest health insurer, apologized for selling policies in the 1850s that reimbursed slave owners for financial losses when the enslaved Africans they owned died. Aetna has long acknowledged that for several years shortly after its founding in 1853, that the company may have insured the lives of slaves. A few other corporations, companies that profited from slavery: Princeton, Harvard Law School, Tiffany & Co., Bank of America, Yale University, and Wells Fargo.
See what I'm talking about? See what I'm talking about? Now, Umar ain't teaching none of that. A lot of people ain't teaching none of that. Brothers is arguing with the Africans off base. Our people don't know nothing but how to argue. Ain't standing on no real business. Ain't pushing the line for what we really need to push the line for. Look how many people don't got no knowledge. And look how these brothers that's out here doing all this talking have distracted us from reparations. And these people are sitting on billions and trillions of dollars that could give us reparations and wouldn't even miss it. And look how they got white Americans thinking that regular white Americans got to pay reparations when the banks and the big corporations the one got the money. And we don't got no talking heads to say, no, poor white Americans don't got to pay this. The government can go and get the money from these corporations and pay us. They don't have to get it from taxpayers. They got you thinking you can get the money from taxpayers. Dr. Umar not going to talk about it because he's begging for money. So you got somebody that's begging for money that turn around and say We don't deserve reparations because we're going to mess the money up. And you let him get a pass. And he took all that money and blew it all and probably on his way to prison. And never once taught you anything about slavery, never taught you nothing about who got the money. He's supposed to be this smart dude. But look how many black Americans don't know nothing about these corporations and reparations. Because Dr. Umar is not going to teach you nothing. He going to talk some bullshit and beg you for some damn money. He not going to teach you nothing of no substance. When he was asked about reparations, he said, we're going to mess the money up. The same person begging us for money say, if we get money, we're going to mess the money up. All of them. She said it was other companies. All of them. It's more companies than that. She just went through the basic ones. And ain't nobody talking about that. None of these talking heads. None of them. They all got you distracted on nonsense. Because the brothers like Dr. Umar, they're gonna push Pan-Africanism. They're not gonna push reparations. He's not gonna push reparations. Because if you get reparations, you won't listen to Umar no more. And he know that. Yvette is the only one. Yvette is the only one standing on it constantly. Tariq, he stand on it sometime, but I feel he get distracted with beefing with Africans too much. I still support him, but I don't think he's using his mouthpiece the way he really should. You know, he kind of taking people off of reparations. He's not selling reparations, he's selling tether, which he's right about tethers, but it can't distract reparations. When you got in the game with reparations, he didn't get in the game with tethers. FBA got in the game on reparations. And stick with what you got in the game with. And these are the people supposed to be teaching y'all what's going on with reparations. You know, I got love for Tyreek, so this ain't no dig or nothing. But still, I'm 67. He got to listen. Period. I was doing this. He was a little boy. Point blank, period. I don't do beef and all that shit. Because I ain't for beefing with him, but we ain't beefing with Bank of America and them people owe us money. So I'm not going to beef with the brothers. These brothers beefing with brothers. These brothers are beefing with people, but they ain't beefing with nobody that got our money. And all that has been a distraction from the struggle. You can't deal with it when it's popular. You have to make it popular. So the fact that we got a brother talking about he building a school begging us for money, but then saying when we going to get our money, we going to mess it up. See, Dr. Umar, foul. He got to get out the community, period. He foul. I got no respect for him. I told him to his face. Bro, when you got a chance to stand up for black people, you said, don't give us reparations. We're going to mess the money up. But we gave you money and you messed the fucking money up. How's a nigga that messed the money up going to say we're going to mess our money up? Now, I'm not for the police or none of that. I don't be coming saying lock no brothers up. But I hope they give Umar life in prison. I want him to go to prison. Period. And you tell him I said it. I want him in cuffs and in prison. Straight like that, with no apologies. Lock his ass up and throw the key. I want to see him in prison. I told him to his face. And prison is better than what I would do to him. A prison is a step up from what I would do. Fuck what he talking about. Because you really deserve something else. Talking all that black shit and robbing your own motherfucking people. That shit's treason. Because you ain't the King Kong of shit. King Kong was a big-ass monkey, right, that was running around with a snow bunny. That just show you his whole philosophy. He's a fucking loser. Think about it. He hates snow bunnies, right? He hates snow bunnies. But he King Kong. I'm going to just show you this brother ain't got no knowledge. Dr. Umar's a dumbass. Totally. Dr. Umar is a fucking dumbass. Okay? None of his philosophies make any goddamn sense. None of them. He the King Kong of consciousness, right? He hates snow bunnies, but he named the school after Frederick Douglass that was married to what he calls a snow bunny. I don't call him that. That's what he calls him. So it's the Frederick Douglass School who was married to a white woman, right? And he's King Kong. He don't like snow bunnies. I'm going to show you this brother ain't got no knowledge. Umar's a dumbass. He don't like snow bunnies, but he King Kong. Dr. Umar disrespect white women, calling them snow bunnies, but he King Kong. What King Kong got? What King Kong ran around protecting? What did King Kong protect? Died protecting them. Okay? Why would you call yourself King Kong? And always talking about white women. The whole movie King Kong is about him running around with a white lady. See what I'm saying? Dr. Umar's not no conscious brother. The conscious brothers, we would know that. Conscious brothers would know this. There's no way I'll call myself King Kong and be disrespecting white women. This is not high-level consciousness. When you black conscious, you think your titles through closely. You think everything through. I don't got no problem with LeBron doing it because LeBron ain't no King Kong conscious. He's just fucking LeBron. So it's cool. If LeBron do that and got the white woman stuff, that ain't nothing. He's just a basketball player. So that's just some American shit. He just doing shit. He ain't supposed to, LeBron ain't supposed to know that type of stuff. He ain't supposed to be no master in black stuff and all that. He ain't supposed to know all that. So I see LeBron do it, don't bother me at all, because I wouldn't expect LeBron to know nothing conscious. You know what I mean? I wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? He just LeBron. So I don't put them expectations. But Dr. Umar is the King Kong of consciousness. He the super black motherfucker. And guess what? I wouldn't put on Umar either. But Umar constantly say he don't like snow bunnies. So it ain't the fact he the king of conscience, it's the fact that he keeps saying he don't like snow bunnies. So if you don't like snow bunnies, why would you call yourself King Kong when King Kong ran around in the whole movie with a so-called snow bunny? Now, I can't let y'all see this without telling y'all what this was really all about. This was not about him, King Kong, liking a white girl. That's not what the movie was about. Okay? They never really told you what really happened, the reason he ended up with the white girl. The movie King Kong shows this island with these ancient people, like tribal people. And they got the white girl and they tied her up on two poles for like a sacrifice, right? And it showed King Kong come and take her. But see, they didn't tell you the whole story. Check it out. They didn't put her up there for King Kong. They put her up there for Godzilla to come take her and kill her. So King Kong was protecting her from Godzilla. He wasn't just grabbing her because he was a lady and he liked her. All of them is the same. The principle is when they tied her up, if you don't know better, you would think that they tied her up for King Kong to come get her. No. They tied her up from Godzilla to come get her. And who attacked him in the jungle with the girl? Godzilla. When he went in the jungle, he had to fight Godzilla. Why? Because the girl was for Godzilla. The girl was not for King Kong. So he was saving her from his mortal enemy, Godzilla. He wasn't saving her because she was white. She was a sacrifice for Godzilla. So he was doing something righteous, saving this woman from Godzilla. They don't tell you that. If they don't tell you that, you'll think that they put her there for King Kong. No. He didn't come, she was not a sacrifice for him. So that's why they say, well, if she tied him up for him to get him, why he ain't do nothing to her? Because she wasn't for him. She was from Godzilla, who was going to eat her. Godzilla was going to eat her. And that's why it was a battle between King Kong and Godzilla. Because King Kong saved the sacrifice from Godzilla. But the way they portrayed the movie, they never really showed that. But they did, but they didn't let you know. You understand? But that's why in the jungle, he had to fight Godzilla, and Godzilla was on his trail, but the whites got him and brought him to America. Because if the whites didn't get him, he would have had to keep fighting Godzilla. Because when he did fight Godzilla, he didn't kill him. He just beat him up and kept on going with the girl. He couldn't fight Godzilla good because he trying to protect the girl and fight. And while he fighting Godzilla, Godzilla would kill the girl. This is the part of the movie they don't tell, so nobody really understand what was all about. So now he's stuck with the girl because he's running from Godzilla. Or he would have put her down or something. But he can't give her back to them because they'll tie her back up there. So he wasn't in love with the girl. He was stuck with the girl. And he didn't like the girl until they captured him. And the girl felt sympathy for him. And that's when they became friends. Because she know he saved her. So when he ended up captured, right? And she had mercy for him, that's why he liked her. They was friends. It had nothing to do with he liked her because she cared about him when he got captured. That's what the movie was really about. That she cared about him because he saved her. See, they don't go back and watch it. You're going to be like, hell yeah, I see what he's saying. That's what it was about. It wasn't no love story. That was a story about them saving each other. That was a story about him saving her. And now the white boys capture him and she white, but she turned on them because she didn't want him like that. She wanted them to let him go. And he knew that. It had nothing to do with love. It had something to do with honor and respect that he saved her. And then she didn't want to see nothing happen to him. He saved her. And she knew he saved her from Godzilla. But they never showed you that, right? They never showed you that. I'm old. What's I'm over here for? I'm waiting for your mommy to get home from work. So I'm going to talk until she get home. And then when your mama get home from work, I'm going to get off of here and go see your moms. That's why I'm over here. And you shouldn't be worried about me. You should be minding your own fucking business. Because you can't get me off of here. So you're just wasting your time. Because I'll go right in front of you and get on here at your house. And you won't say shit. You understand? So you the one on the internet need to get off the internet. Get off kick. Because you scary. You ain't going to stand on nothing. And you making yourself look stupid on the internet talking dumb shit that you ain't going to say in real life. Because you probably can't even go outside in your neighborhood. You probably can't even go outside. So I don't know why you in my business, little boy. You need to stay in a little boy's place. I don't know why you in my business. I don't know. Maybe because you on kick and can't nobody reach out and touch you. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know why you worry about me. Let me get you out of here. Hold on, y'all. Let me get him out of here. He's supposed to be with the little kids. He ain't supposed to be over here with the grown folks. He's supposed to be with the little kids. I don't know why he over here with the grown folks. That's the only thing about Kick. It's a lot of stupid kids over there. You know what I'm saying? That ain't really on nothing. You know what I'm saying? Let me get him out of here. It's a bunch of stupid kids on Kick. Dr. Daniel Spencer. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm on Kick. I'm on Kick. I'm on Twitch. I'm on all of that. They over there watching me over there. It'd be some weirdos, but they be trolling, messing up the Kick over there. So I had to block them. They be messing it up for the other people on Kick. You know what I'm saying? This is Kick right here. I'll show you. It's gonna act crazy because it's gonna keep showing me, showing you, showing me, showing you, like that. So this is Kick. See, it's gonna keep showing me. It's gonna keep because it's showing me, then it's showing you, then it's showing me live over there. You know what I'm saying? I'm on Twitch too. They be hate. They be hating because a lot of young people be hating because the fact I even know that stuff. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of young people be hating. So that's Twitch. They be hating. They be hating and stuff. You know what I'm saying? They don't like. They don't like it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. In Chicago, young people get did dirty playing. You know what I'm saying? One thing about me, if I'm on Twitch with young people, what that mean I do to you? You know what I'm saying? They stupid. Duh. The same way I'm advanced on all this stuff is the same way I'm advanced. If you read between the lines. I ain't just on Kick like the young people. I'm on that whole Chirac time, just like the young. I'm on that type of time too. That's you know what I'm saying? I'm on the same type of time as Vaughn off 1700. Man, I'm with the bullshit. So it don't bother me. I wouldn't say all that. I'm just saying they're young and they just be playing. I wouldn't say all that in real life. That's one thing you gotta know in real. That's the internet. In real life, they ain't like that. So it's not really that serious. They just on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They not like that, so it's not really serious. They're not like that for real. They on the internet. But what happens? They on the internet. They play with me, and they gonna go nowhere. But they play with people their age, and they be going somewhere. So they really need to stop doing that with each other. Because me, I catch you out there, I'm just going to talk to you. I ain't going to do nothing to them. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to talk to them. They already going to know not to play just when they see me face to face. So if I talk to them, they'll feel like, he cool though. They already going to know, you know what I'm saying? If they be like, oh, you the dude, they ain't talking crazy, my response is going to really change the whole temperature. But I wouldn't do nothing to them young people like that. They don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? Umar is definitely going to prison. Umar is definitely going to prison, which is a lesson y'all need to know. He is going to prison. If you get a non for profit or anything like that, you have to be accountable for that money. You cannot collect money. Don't pay no taxes on it. Don't report it to the IRS. Say it's for one thing. In order to even raise the money for the school, you have to fill out paperwork saying this is a non-for-profit to raise money for this school. There's going to be all type of stipulations on that too, especially depending on how much money you're going to raise. He not keeping no paperwork because for him to really raise money for that school, he can't do it no less than 2 or 3 people working with him. Somebody would have to update that paperwork for him. Period. Now the people that had the school, the people that was the city, the lady tried to call him 2 or 3 times to work something out with a helper. He never returned her call. Some people believe Umar's intentionally trying to lose the school because he don't got the money. He don't have the money. If he keep the school, try to keep the school, it'll come out that he don't have the money. So what he gonna do is say his bank was hacked, he couldn't get his money, and the city took his money. But the Fed's gonna look at that, and the Fed's gonna be like, no, no, and he's going to prison because Umar has lost his mind. That's what I'm telling y'all. Umar has went crazy. Umar is mentally unstable, and he's going to prison. No, if only way he don't go to prison is if they can sick him on somebody. But if they ain't got nobody that he could send to prison instead of him, he's going to prison. That's where he's going. If he goes to Africa, he'll have to stay there for the rest of his life. But for the young people watching me, he'll be arrested at the airport because most likely he's being monitored until they arrest him. He's being watched, he's being tracked, he's being monitored. If he tries to flee, he'll be arrested and charged right there. They'll grab him because his lady friend is saying that conveniently he's saying the bank account is closed at the same time when they finna take to school. But it's a high possibility that at the same time he defaulted, the FBI and the IRS closed his account because they looking like, well, he not calling you back. He can't pay this thing. They'll go look at his bank account and be like, it's not enough money in here based off what he collected. And if I had to bet, he gonna be in cuffs soon. They already probably got him on a no-fly law, because he first thing is he always talking against white people, right? He's always talking about white. There's no doubt the feds is watching him because he drug it out so long that the feds is definitely watching. If I had to bet, the feds shut that bank account down. The IRS and the feds. They looked at it. They looked because his PayPal and shit got that mean they looked at how much money you was collecting. Because all his money he collected electronically. So the feds know exactly how much you've been collecting all these years. Then they know how much you paid because they could talk to the school. So they know it's money missing. They're like, you collected this much, but you only spent this much. He gonna get wire fraud, mail fraud, and some other charges. He going to prison. You can't be no big celebrity like that doing all that in front of the whole world. That man going to prison. And he's still asking for 40,000. It ain't no way he ain't going to prison. He doing a lot of stuff. He mistreated a lot of women. They didn't show call the police. I don't know if he know this, but a scorned woman will call the police on you. Facts. He went up there and said that woman smelled and all that. That woman will call the FBI on you and the IRS. That woman will call everybody on you. You try to humiliate her on this internet, she'll make sure you go to prison. For real. There's no way they'll let him get on a plane and leave. Not no high profile Pan African talking against white people. Mm-mm. Calling white women snow bunnies and all that. Bro, they see all that. They locking you up. The the city got to report all of that. The city got to report all their transactions. So if he did transactions with the city and he didn't pay them and all that, the state see all that and the federal government see it. How is he gonna run the school and he don't know that? How you gonna run a school? You own the internet while you defaulting on people money, run away with people money, and you own the internet. You own the internet, making it worse and worse and worse. It's a billion videos about you being a scammer. And you don't think the feds see that? The feds watch the internet. He got so many enemies, they'll call the feds on him. That man going to prison. If that man don't go to prison, I'll be shocked. I'll be shocked. That man going to prison. for a long time too. They're gonna humiliate him. And under this climate, they'll call Trump, and Trump will go get him. Trump will lock him up right now. So he ain't smart, man. Umar is not smart. Umar is not smart, and he has lost his mind, and he's going to prison. You say he gonna pay for what Puffy got away with? Puffy ain't got away with nothing. Puffy ain't got no way with nothing. Mm-mm. Black light. Puffy ain't get away with nothing. Don't believe that, bro. They locking Puffy up. He gonna at least get 8 to 10. And when they lock him up, they're gonna hit him with some more charges. Puff got more charges coming. They ain't got to rush because they're gonna lock him up. Puff going to prison. They got more charges coming. And Trump said he used to be friends with him, but he did him dirty, so he ain't finna pardon him. Diddy going to prison. Puff not walking. Puff finna get more charges. He talked against Snake Trump. Trump will make sure he get more. Man, these dudes, man. Bro, if you was riding with Trump, you should have kept riding with Trump. But he didn't think Trump gonna be president again. Man, man, listen. There was way more to that case than what they showed y'all. Now they're gonna pull up some more stuff. Puff going bye-bye. If they lock him up, they got enough time to get another case on him while he's sitting. Yeah, he crazy. He talking about he need 20,000, he need 40,000. That fool say, I just shook my head. I said, man, this man then went crazy. I told a friend, I said, you see, Dr. Umar went crazy. They said, yeah, that's because he lying and everything. I was like, yeah, you're grifter. Yeah, he was doing too much. He was talking against Trump. You don't be talking against these politicians like that. They can make your life horrible. You can't be their friend one minute and turn on them. These politicians. Umar was down with Trump and then flip flopped on him. He gonna pay for that. He gonna pay for that. Umar lost his mind. I was telling a friend that. She said, no, he didn't. I said, man, Umar has lost his mind. You know what I'm saying? You could see the man lost his man. All you got to do is look at him. All you got to do is look at Umar when he first got out there and then look at him now. And you'll see he lost his man. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Threw it all away. He on something, Tyson. Can't you tell? Because he crazy as a Betsy bug. That man crazy. Yeah, he crazy. You know what I'm saying? I just look at him and shake my head. But I been knew he was scamming. He been scamming a long time. Everybody knew he was scamming. Everybody knew he was scamming. Now he done got himself in the news with Trump in there, and Trump don't like him. He done. Yeah, he done. He sloppy. Instead of just get his money the legitimate way, he trying to do too much. Yeah, he crazy, man. That man, I don't know what to tell you. I ain't never seen nothing crazy like that. I ain't never seen nobody just jump out the window, go to prison like he trying to do. And they just leaving him out there. The feds gonna get him anytime they get ready. Once they got you where you can't leave, and they got you covered where they can arrest you if you try to get to the airport, they'll let you leave you out there till they get ready to grab you. As long as you can't get away. He running around trying to do something, trying to come up with a little bit of money before everything hit the fan. He wasn't gonna open no damn school. He got no staff. He's got no education to run no school. Right? He got no staff. He don't know how to run the school. He got no plans or nothing. He gonna do the same thing he did with the, he just gonna. It's gonna be a disaster because he don't know how to run no school. Them kids gonna be getting ditto sheet papers. It's gonna be a mess. He ain't raised enough money to teach no sixth grade and seventh grade. He ain't able to do that. That man don't got that kind of talent. That man ain't. His ex-girlfriend said she believed he sabotaged the school on purpose. That's what it looked like to me. That he didn't want to do it. He seemed like he realized he could have took less property and just chill. He tried to do the big old grand thing, and now he going to prison. Bad management, man. Anyway, that's it, y'all, on that. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for supporting the channel. And whatever y'all do, don't y'all get caught up in nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? That's not a good look. Not at all. That's not a good look. That man crazy. Straight like that. Victory.